Hello everyone, today I am introducing our research on team dynamics and conflicts. While teams are fundamental to the success of any modern organizations, they naturally bring a friction. This conflict typically divides into two main aspects. The first one is the task conflict, which involves disagreements over viewpoints and project ideas. And then we have relationship conflicts, which stem from interpersonal tension and also personal animosity. An organization workforce is defined by the massive diversity of personal values and roles. When a shared team's identity is missing, individuals naturally start focusing on their own individual roles and goals over the collective one. This creates a destructive behavior pattern of I versus we. To solve this, we look at the concept of team identification, where a member feels psychologically intertwined with the group fates and adopts team goal as their own. In this report, we analyze how team conflict act as a critical dependent variable heavily predicted by two factors: team identification and peer trust. We combine findings from 3 core studies, exploring these dynamics globally as well as locally within the Malaysian statutory context, using the job demand resources model, which treats conflict as a job demand affecting performance. While ultimately managing the delicate balance between individual roles and collective objectives dictates whether a team thrives or fractures under the pressure. By viewing conflict as a systematic outcome of alignment rather than isolated disruption, we can create environments where diverse perspectives drive innovation rather than division. So let's dive into the core findings.
Now I'm going to present regarding the objective of our general research. So all researchers have conducted in-depth studies regarding the role of conflict management and its effect on team performance. So based on our review of the literature, we identified several objectives from this research. So this is to ensure we have a better understanding of the relationship between the factors, conflict management, team identification, and its impact on the team effectiveness. So the first objective is to examine factors that trigger conflict and their impact on team effectiveness. So few studies have shown that factors that can trigger conflict are gender role and also individual behavior. So the outcome of this research shows that these factors can help to solve the conflict and give a good impact regarding the team performance, while other factors such as leadership behavior, communication, and employee satisfaction are not significant because these cannot give a major impact to enhance team performance. The second point is to identify the relationship between team identification and team effectiveness. So the purpose of this goal is to investigate whether team identification also contributes to team efficiency. Before that, it's important to understand the definition of team identification. So this is defined as a sense of belonging and attachment that team members feel toward their teams. So this shows that a strong team identity can enhance trust, encourage commitment, and promote cooperative discussion among team members. And this is the proof that this objective really gives an impact towards the team performance. So the last point is to investigate the influence of conflict management and team identification on team efficiency. So this goal aims to examine how team identification and also conflict resolution can give an impact towards the team performance. So according to these general researchers, teams that have a strong identification and efficient conflict management are more likely to perform and be more effective in doing their tasks, which can give a good impact on the team performance too. So next, I'm going to pass to the next presenters.
Based on the analysis of the 10 selected journals, the first issue identified is interpersonal conflict in teams. This issue refers to conflict that occur between team members due to differences in opinion, attitude, and ways of working. The journals show that a lack of trust and weak team identification are common causes of interpersonal conflict. When team members do not trust each other or feel disconnected from the team, misunderstanding and disagreements are more likely to happen. In addition, task-related disagreements are become more personal conflict if they are not managed properly. The finding also highlight the importance of emotional regulation. Team members who can control their emotion are better able to handle conflict professionally. However, poor emotional control may increase tension and negatively affect teamwork. As a result, interpersonal conflict can reduce collaboration and weaken team cohesion. The second issue identified is communication and leadership problems. Based on the selected journals, effective communication and leadership play an important role in managing workplace conflict and maintaining team performance. Poor communication among team members often lead to misunderstanding and misinterpretation of information and conflict situation. In addition, weak leadership make it more difficult for team to handle disagreement effectively. When leaders fail to provide clear guidance and direction, team members may become confused about their roles and responsibilities, which increase workplace tension. Furthermore, high expectation and pressure from stakeholders can create additional stress for team members and intensify conflict within the team. Therefore, strong communication and effective leadership are essential to ensure conflict are managed properly and team performance is maintained. The third issue identified is structure and goals misalignment. Based on the journal review, conflict often arises when team members do not share the same goals or expectations. Misalignment between individual goals and team objectives can reduce cooperation and coordination among members. In addition, high task interdependence increase the risk of conflict because team members depend on one another to complete their work. Any delay or mistake by one member may affect the performance of others. Furthermore, unclear roles and responsibilities can create confusion and inefficiencies within the team. Different in performance or expectation among team members may also lead to misunderstanding and increase the likelihood of conflict. Therefore, clear goals, defined roles, and proper coordination are important to ensure effective teamwork. The final issue identified is the impact of conflict on team performance. Based on the journal's review, team conflict can have significant negative effect on both employee and organization if it is not managed properly. Workplace conflict often reduces employee engagement and productivity, making it more difficult for teams to achieve their goals. In addition, unresolved conflict can negatively affect team effectiveness and disrupt collaboration among members. When conflict continues for a long period, team commitment may decrease, causing members to become less motivated and less willing to work together. As a result, poor conflict management can weaken overall organizational performance. Therefore, organizations need effective conflict management strategy to maintain teamwork, productivity, and long-term performance.
So thank you, my friend. As discussed earlier, team conflict has become an important organizational issue that can affect teamwork and overall performance. Various factors such as communication problems, leadership challenge, and difference in goals may contribute to conflict among team members. In these sessions, I will focus on the analysis of the issue based on the findings from the review articles. Specifically, I will discuss the major factors contributing to team conflicts, its impact on team performance, and the overall patterns identified from the literature. Okay, let's look at the role of communication and leadership in contributing to team conflicts. Based on the literature review, communication and leadership were identified as two of the most significant factors contributing to team conflict. Several studies found that poor communication often leads to misunderstanding among team members. When information is unclear, incomplete, or interpreted differently, disagreements can easily occur and create tension within the team. So, in addition, ineffective leadership can further worsen the situation. Leaders play an important role in guiding the team members, facilitating communication, and resolving conflict. When leaders fail to provide clear direction or address issues promptly, conflicts may escalate and negatively affect teamwork. Therefore, the findings suggest that organizations should strengthen communication practice and develop effective leadership skills to minimize conflict and improve team effectiveness. So next, I will discuss another important factor identified in the literature, which is trust and team identification. Another important findings from the review article is the role of trust and team identification in managing team conflict. Trust refers to the confidence that team members have in one another. When trust is low, employees may become suspicious of each other's intentions, making conflicts more likely to occur. As a result, disagreement can quickly develop into more serious interpersonal issues. The studies also found that team identification plays a significant role in reducing conflict. Team identification means employees feel a strong sense of belonging and view themselves as part of the same team. When team members share common goals and a strong team identity, they are more willing to cooperate, support each other, and resolve disagreement constructively. This reduces the likelihood of conflicts escalating and helps maintain positive working relationships. So next, I will discuss how team conflict affect team performance and effectiveness. The literature shows that team conflicts can have both negative and positive effects, depending on how it is managed. Most studies report that relationship conflict produce a negative outcome from teams. Relationship conflict often involves personal disagreement, tension, and emotional issues between team members. This can reduce team commitment, lower work engagement, weaken team cohesion, and ultimately decrease overall performance. However, the findings also indicate that not all forms of conflict are harmful. Several studies found that such conflict can generate positive outcome when it focuses on work-related issues rather than personal matters. Constructive discussions and difference in opinions can encourage creativity, improve decision making, and help team develop better solutions to problems. Therefore, the impact of conflict depends largely on how team members manage disagreements within the team. Based on these findings, I will now summarize the overall analysis from the literature review. So overall, the review studies suggest that conflict itself is not necessarily harmful to organizations. Instead, the impact of conflict depends on the type of conflict and the team's ability to manage it effectively. A clear pattern across the literature is that relationship conflict consistently produce negative outcomes such as lower team commitment, weaker collaboration, and reduced performance. In contrast, thus conflict may contribute positively to team outcome when team members have high levels of trust, emotional regulation, effective communication, and strong leadership. Furthermore, communication and leadership were repeatedly identified as important factors influencing how conflict develops and affect team effectiveness. Trust and team identification also play a crucial role in preventing conflicts from escalating into more serious problems. Therefore, organizations should focus on creating a supportive work environment that encourages open communication, trust, cooperation, and constructive conflict management in order to improve overall team effectiveness. With that, I have completed the analysis of the issue. I will now like to hand over the presentation to my next group members who will discuss the current solution and practical recommendations for managing team conflict in organization. Thank you.
Based on the journal's review, interpersonal conflict can be reduced by strengthening team identification, trust among team members, and emotion regulation abilities. When employees feel a strong sense of belonging to the team, they are more likely to trust one another and cooperate effectively. Trust helps prevent misunderstanding and reduce both task and relationships conflicts. In addition, employees who can regulate their emotions are better able to handle disagreement calmly and prevent conflicts from escalating into personal issues. Team engagement also acts as a protective factor, helping teams maintain positive relationships despite challenges. Next, communications and leadership problems. The literature suggests that communication-related conflicts can be addressed through open communication, cooperative conflict management, and constructive discussion of different viewpoints. Team members should be encouraged to express ideas openly and respectfully without creating hostility. Effective conflict management is not solely dependent on leadership, but also on how team members communicate and collaborate with one another. Constructive task-related discussions can improve problem-solving and decision-making when managed appropriately. For structural goal misalignment, to overcome goal misalignment within teams, their studies emphasize the importance of shared goals, goal congruence, and strong team identity. When team members understand and work toward common objective, they are more likely to cooperate and less likely to experience conflict arising from competing priorities. Shared perceptions of team obligations and responsibilities also improve commitment and teamwork. Furthermore, a strong team identity helps align individual efforts with organizational goals, creating great unity and collaboration. Last but not least, impact on team performance. The findings indicate that not all conflict is harmful to team performance. Moderate levels of task conflict can improve decision quality, creativity, learning, and overall effectiveness when managed properly. Teams that perceive themselves as performing well are more likely to handle disagreements constructively and avoid turning task-related issues into personal conflicts. In addition, emotion regulation skills and positive team engagement enable members to use conflict as an opportunity for innovation and continuous improvement rather than as a source of disruption. For first practical recommendation is strengthen communication and trust. Effective communication and trust are essential for reducing workplace conflict. Organizations should encourage open discussions, active listening, and transparent information sharing among team members. When employees trust each other and communicate clearly, misunderstanding can be minimized, leading to stronger teamwork and better collaboration. The next practical recommendation is develop leadership and conflict resolution skills. Leaders play an important role in managing workplace conflict. Organizations should provide leadership training and conflict resolution programs to help both managers and employees handle disagreements professionally. Developing skills such as problem solving, negotiation, and emotional intelligence can prevent conflicts from escalating and improve team relationships. Next, align goals and clarify responsibilities. Conflicts often occur when employees have unclear responsibilities or different expectations. Organizations should ensure that team goals, individual objectives, and job roles are clearly communicated. This helps employees understand their responsibilities, improve coordination, and reduce confusion within the team. Another practical recommendation is enhance collaboration and employee engagement. Organizations should encourage teamwork and involve employees in decision-making process. Recognizing employee contributions and promoting collaboration can increase motivation, strengthen commitment, and improve working relationships. As a result, teams become more productive and effective. The last practical recommendation is monitor and address conflict early. Workplace conflict should be identified and resolved before they become serious problems. Managers should regularly gather feedback, observe team dynamics, and encourage employees to discuss issues openly. Early intervention helps prevent conflict escalation and maintains a positive work environment. By implementing these practical recommendations, organizations can create a more cooperative work environment, strengthen team performance, and turn workplace challenges into opportunities for growth and success.
Finally, to conclude our research present a definite choice for organizations represented perfectly by these two paths. On the left is a structured environment. When conflict is treated as an isolated distraction, individual roles completely hijack the team identity. Task disagreement quickly deteriorates into personal animosity and relationship conflict, causing the entire team to fracture under the pressure. Whilst on the right is the alliance system. By building deep team identification, we merge individual objective with a collective group fix. Supported by peer trust, these environments create a psychological safety net. Here, conflict is no longer a destructive liability. Instead, constructive task friction is directly leveraged to drive innovation. Ultimately, managing this balance dedicates whether a team breaks down or thrives. Address conflict as a systematic outcome of team alignment, and we unlock the true potential of our workforce. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.